Welcome to the WTOC First Alert Weather Podcast, sponsored by Ogeechee Heating and Air.
Hey everybody, thanks for joining us for another edition of the WTOC First Alert Weather Podcast. Meteorologist Dave Turley here, along with meteorologist Andrew Gordon. And Andrew, the big question on everybody's mind is what's going to happen as we move into the weekend, and wouldn't we like to know too?
Yeah, I sure wish we had one of those crystal balls. We can tell you from our professional opinion what we think will happen as of now, at least some pattern recognition, some kind of bullet points of potentials, but there are no specifics at this point. Tuesday talking about this weekend for a system like this, a lot of unknowns.
Yeah, so computer models are in agreement on moisture moving in, not so much an agreement on how long the moisture is going to be here and what type of precipitation we're actually going to be seeing. So we're going to give you the latest of what we know. We're recording this today is Tuesday, January 20th. So this is the information as we have as of right now. So here's what it looks like. Here's what we know so far.
Yeah, so for sure we're going to have colder air come in. That front comes in Friday into Saturday. So Saturday, you're getting that cold air advection, some moisture with that. Saturday is not a big concern, but once temperatures begin to tumble into Sunday and then maybe again into Monday, that's whenever we see the potential travel issues in general.
Yeah, so again, we're pretty good confidence in bringing in precipitation. The confidence drops because computer models are not in agreement on how quickly this cold air is going to get in here and how far south does this cold air move. There certainly is that potential for seeing some freezing rain in here Saturday, let's say overnight Saturday, probably especially after midnight, so Sunday morning-ish. And then if it continues, maybe even again early on Monday morning.
Yeah, and then the other part with Monday too is that if it rains on Saturday, it's above freezing, but then it freezes, around 3, 4, 5 in the morning on Monday, you could have some patchy slick spots.
Yeah, raining on Sunday. Yeah,
from Sunday. So it's hard to break down because every day features something slightly different, but what we're going to try to do for you.
So right now we have first alert weather days on here for Sunday and Monday for that potential. And let's show you a couple different computer models. This is the GFS model. We're going to stop it here. We started at midnight on Sunday, stopping it here at 8 a.m. on Sunday morning. You can see the pink here, which is representing the possibility of freezing rain.
Yeah, and this is going to be that time in which temperatures are coolest, of course, as you get right before sunrise and just after. Cold enough there, mainly going to be north of I-16. I know the model digs this a little south. We think it's more so north of I-16. So areas like Sylvania and Swainsboro, those areas, maybe a little bit better chance here.
And that's Sunday morning. As we go through the afternoon, this model still tries to keep in some cold air for some inland areas, so they're not really warming up all that much above freezing. So they're actually looking at temperatures near or below freezing throughout the afternoon on Sunday. That's a little bit colder than what we are looking at, what the National Weather Service is looking at as well. So this is still depicting the potential for freezing rain, even going through the evening, afternoon hours and into the evening. As we get colder again, here we are at midnight now, we're going to see the potential for more of that.
Yeah, and if that were to happen, that'd be a pretty big issue. Right now, I think we're going to warm up enough to say that doesn't seem like the most likely solution, but it's something we're going to have to watch these trends. If this keeps showing for the next few model runs, then going to have to up the verbiage, I guess, a little bit.
Yeah, and then as we head on into Monday, this still keeps in again. Here we are Monday morning at 8 a.m. This model holding on to a little bit of moisture here Monday, and rain along the coast, but inland areas again showing a little bit of some pink.
Yep, even getting down closer toward that big bend there of the Altamaha River going northward, but it looks like Douglas way across Jessup, Brunswick, you guys dealing with just the cold rain again.
And then as you go throughout the rest of the afternoon, all models show this moisture, whatever it is, getting out of here by Monday afternoon. So we know we're in agreement with that, then getting real cold air building in behind that. So that was the GFS model. Let's show you the European model. Again, starting at midnight, here we are again by 8 a.m. This model trying to show more of that ice in here for Sunday morning.
Yeah, and again, a little bit warmer further south, but similar in that depiction. kind of digging that colder air a little bit further off to the south. Surface temperatures, though, still look like they want to be a little bit above freezing. So we're going to have to see if those finally start to line up, because right now I think the model's going a little cold.
Right.
That doesn't mean that can't happen. But I think this would be more rain, and then northern areas maybe that freezing.
And then as we go through the afternoon, here's the European model. Again, this is depicting of that warm up, which we do expect to see throughout our Sunday afternoon, which would mean there is still potential for freezing rain in the morning, but once those temperatures get above freezing, roads will be wet, but we don't have any concern for anything freezing until we get into Sunday night as those temperatures drop back down again. So here we are at midnight.
So even imagine that it's not raining at midnight on Sunday. Temperatures are going to start falling again overnight. So you could have temperatures get to freezing Monday morning, then around 3 o'clock or so for inland areas, and then maybe 5 or 6. We're splitting hairs there that far out for Monday morning.
Right. So it's all about the potential here. The cold air is going to be trying to work back in here. This model is actually one of the warmest models by far.
We want this.
This is great for Monday. Again, this is not showing any freezing precipitation. Remember, the GFS had freezing precipitation all the way down south of the Altamaha River on Monday morning. This model keeps us well above freezing here into Monday and then dries us out again by Monday afternoon. So a lot of uncertainty still on the timing of what we could see.
I mean, the good thing here is that this is kind of going to be depicted on what we get locally on where low forms and where it tracks. So we're going to be able to track that as we get closer to it. So it's one of those kind of hurry up and wait situations. We're telling you about these potentials. We live here too. We have to deal with the same weather. Just don't really know. You can't speak in definitive terms right now.
Nothing is definitive. We don't have any specifics as far as how much ice we're going to see, where that ice is going to be occurring. We do know the time frames are getting a little bit better right now. We know the precip is going to be in here. I think Saturday night, overnight into Sunday morning is the best potential for seeing any type of freezing precipitation right now.
Right. And then again, as you get into then Sunday after sunrise, a lot of temperatures start to come back above freezing. As you mentioned, afternoon travel on Sunday doesn't look terrible, but again, we cool back down overnight into Monday morning.
Yeah. So many people might be asking, well, why is this not snow? Why is it going to be freezing rain? Let's talk about why that is. The last system that we just had in here, which gave us some of that snow for inland areas, is a different scenario, different setup than what we had with this. That one, we had a lot of cold air aloft. So it was snowing aloft and trying to make its way down to the ground. But we were seeing temperatures above freezing here right along the lowest level of the atmosphere here. So it stayed snow for those far inland areas where it finally changed over. That cold air made it down here. What we're going to have this time is going to be freezing rain, and you can talk about what that's going to be.
Yeah, that's when it's a little bit warmer above, and then at the surface, you've got freezing temperatures, so it freezes on contact. It falls down there as a liquid, but then freezes at the surface.
Yeah.
So it's kind of the opposite.
Anything that it touches, and that is the worst type of wintry precipitation you can speak of. Snow is not too bad, relatively speaking, but freezing rain is just horrible, and we don't want to see any type of freezing rain because, as you mentioned, it freezes on everything it comes into contact with: the ground, the car, the trees, the power lines.
Yeah.
So power potentially could be a
Maybe
problem
spotty.
out there.
Yeah.
Can't rule it out.
Think of freezing rain kind of like if it was freezing outside, you walk outside right now, it's freezing, and then you take your garden hose and you start spraying it around. Well, it's not falling as snow, right? But then it freezes on contact. That's kind of a way to think about freezing rain.
And you could get some ice building up on the trees and some power lines. So not something we're forecasting right now, but that's what could potentially happen when we're talking about freezing rain. And it's not to mention that just traveling on the roads is just a mess. Even if you have four-wheel drive or all-wheel drive, whatever, if your tires can't make contact with the ground, they're still just going to be spinning.
And then you get accidents and all of our car insurances go up for the zip code, and we just don't want that. So definitely not cheering for this. There are warmer solutions to be transparent. The Canadian model, the Icon model, pulling more so just rain. That doesn't mean it couldn't refreeze into Monday morning, and that's its own issue. But we've talked about, 4 different kinds of solutions here, so we just kind of have to wait and see a little bit.
So this is what it looks like as of right now. Again, we're recording this here on Tuesday. We're going to start to warm things up with, we should take that MLK off.
Get a bonus day.
That was yesterday. We are looking at temperatures into the 60s as we're going through the rest of the week. Andrew mentioned the cold front moving through on Friday, bringing in that colder weather for the weekend.
Yeah, so we'll see. And the thing that's in our favor right now is these afternoons getting above that freezing mark. But if we start dropping these lows even more, then that's whenever those impacts probably go up.
And we're going to have to watch Saturday night as well. If those computer model trends are suggesting that rain might change over a little bit earlier Saturday night, well, we might be talking about another first alert here for Saturday night. But as of right now, we do not have it in there. Computer models are, again, not in good agreement on that happening. But that is one of the scenarios that is out there.
Yeah, we're not just going to do something to do it. You know, that just doesn't. There is zero level of confidence in what would happen Saturday right now. So that's why we're holding off, at least for the time being.
Yeah, so again, if you're watching this here, it's not MLK Day here on Wednesday. Forgot to take the graphic off there. That was actually yesterday on Monday. But everything else is correct here on this 7-day forecast, which we are looking at. First alert weather days as of right now for Sunday morning, then again Sunday night, and into early on Monday morning. Now, looking ahead, all that precip, again, gets out of here on Monday afternoon. But we're looking at some colder air trying to build in.
Yeah, if you're looking at any warmth, you have to go over toward the Rockies, but we're cooler. And this deep, deep shade of purple, almost looking black, is where you've got the very high confidence of cooler temperatures coming in. So this is going to be toward the end of the month. So right now, this does not line up with precipitation, but that cold, cold air, below average temperatures are likely.
So what are the averages? Right now, we're 61. I think we're going to be 62. Yeah, 62 and 40. Those are the averages. So there's a very good chance we are going to be below that here as we go on through the end of January. Something to look forward to if you're interested in that. I know a lot of people want to see snow. Doesn't look like snow for this event go around, but
not the best chance. And don't feel bad about the MLK. In my 4:30 morning forecast, I left it in, and my producer's like, "Hey, still have that in there." So it happens.
Sometimes you forget. Yeah. So I think that's going to do it for another edition of the WTOC First Alert Weather Podcast. For meteorologist Andrew Gordon, I'm meteorologist Dave Turley. We will see you next time.